Happy Guide to a Short Life. What is it? What motivated you to write it?
Thanks. Happy Guide.
If you don't know, as well as being a public consultant, he also is a writer.
The book, it's a little book, and there are probably three things I'm really proud about the book, and that is when my daughter read it, she actually cried. She said, "Dad, that's beautiful." Boy, I get a little teary-eyed thinking about that now.
And I believe one of these is your daughter on your shirt.
Yeah, this is Julia. She's an All-American volleyball player, and this is her first cousin, Megan Bell, who was on The Bachelor and is a famous country music singer. So these are my sweethearts. Yeah. But Julia's fell behind another fellow named Chandler. Chandler went to school with my son Miles, and when he got out of school, he came to me and he said, "Mr. Brown, I want you to know that Happy Guide was the only book I read in high school." So it's about 40 pages, and I was real proud that Chandler was able to stay focused. But the book came from a response to a serious author, Anna Quinlan, who wrote a book called Short Guide to a Happy Life. And in that, she says, recognize that you have work, and recognize you have family, and recognize you have other interests. And she was really addressing the concern that people were just too focused on their work and letting life slip by. As the years go by, as the days go by, you just spend more and more and more time at the office, and you don't make your kids' volleyball games, or you don't make their lacrosse games, or you don't make the music concerts because you're at work and you're too focused on work. And so in the punchline, her book was a commencement speech that she gave to college graduates, and the punchline was, think about what you're doing, take care of your family, take care of yourself, and that'll help you have a better career. I read that book, I liked it. I liked a lot of the suggestions, but the book I wrote said, there's only so many hours in the day, and you better be careful. They'll slip by really fast, and while you're out walking through the jungle or the forest meditating, the people you're competing with at work are still at work and being more competitive there. So my approach was pretty much like I explained early on to the students is, if you can get your family and friends, your work, and your extracurricular activities to all line up, no one can ever tell at any time, are you hanging out with your family, are you goofing off, or are you doing your work? And let me give you an example about this, and I have three of them. The first one would be, we sold a bunch of work down in Texas, and Mr. Cottrell was our client. He was all into bull riding. And so, we'd go to have a meeting at his office, we'd talk about our work, and then he would talk about bull riding. Well, my response to that was I took up bull riding and really got serious about it, and went to Texas once a month for a couple of years and became a skilled bull rider so that me and my client would have something to talk about in addition to the work. But as that came along, my boys became bull riders. Well, they started out with the little sheep, and then they went to the bulls. And so then our kids are excited about bull riding, our clients are excited about bull riding, I'm excited about bull riding, and it's more integrated than I'm going to just talk about work and I'm just going to talk about my extracurricular activities. So that integration was really important. Another example would be, I had a client up in the state of Washington. The highest mountain in the United States is called Mount Rainier. Mm-hmm. It's just shortly outside of Seattle, Washington. It's 14,300 feet. And me and four other workmates were working in Washington, mm-hmm. connecting with the folks in Washington. We saw this big mountain, and we all decided to climb it together. So we were able to train together, and while we were training, we were talking about work. We were able to work together. We got our families involved. We got our clients involved. Everybody got excited about this big attempt to climb Mount Rainier. And many people have attempted it. 5 people died the week before we actually made our summit.
No, but it was a year trip.
Yeah, we agree. And but I still work with many of those fellows today. We shared a lifetime experience. I'm sure every one of them has a picture of that mountain in their offices, and that was another shared experience. One more would be we worked in NASCAR down in North Carolina, and our client there was Dale Earnhardt's gas man's aunt. And she was all into NASCAR. She got us excited about it. We ended up cobbled together a race team and got to race for 2 or 3 seasons, and that was a lot of fun. Again, the idea of we didn't stop work to go race. We raced, we worked, we raised our kids all in an integrated way. But those, I'm sorry to go on about that, Kelly, but
that's
they're 3 good examples.
Yeah, I agree. Very good examples. All right, let's talk about your education. You hold a Master's of Business Administration degree from Duke University. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. From Duke, and a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science from North Carolina State University. You also graduated from Inca High School in Candler, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's good.
What was that transition from high school to college like for you, and how did you decide where you wanted to go?
I don't know who's going to see this video, and I'm not sure who's going to decide that it should ever see the light of day. But I'm going to tell you high school kids something. When I graduated from high school, and I promise you this is truth, I didn't know what a verb was. I did not know how to do algebra. I made a very low score on my SAT back when I had to take SAT. But my GPA was, in today's terms, a B plus, 3.5. And the reason it was a 3.5 is because I played football, and my math teacher gave me good grades because I went out and lined the football fields before Friday night before the games.
Okay.
My history teacher was the track coach, and I pole vaulted, and so we were a part of that. And so as a really, really unimpressive athlete, I was able to slide by my high school career, just getting by, taking the right classes that weren't really hard, and I basically graduated from Inca High School uneducated. And I got nobody to blame but myself. It's because I didn't understand the challenges that were coming down the road. And if I had it all to do over again, I maybe would have been a little bit more focused on which classes I was taking, what kind of students I was hanging out with, my friends, and I love them all to this day. We were quick to take the easy road in classes and do subpar work. And if I had it to do over again, I might try to hang out with some of the smarter kids that are a little bit more motivated. And hopefully when I got out of high school and went to NC State, it wouldn't have been such a tough transition. So if you are in high school, if you are just goofing off and getting by, understand, like me, you're going to pay for that. And it came to me, Kelly, at NC State as a freshman. I basically, got my eyes open wide for how hard I had to work. And when you compared me and the work that I had to do to kids that had been real honor students or had really focused, it was night and day. They were ready for college. They were able to succeed, make good grades in college, and I struggled. I had to get tutors. I had to do extra work. I had to, take some preliminary classes to get up to speed so I could take the normal classes. And it was, I really had to pay it back. And, at the time, computer science was really becoming a very competitive degree at NC State. So the students that I was competing with were a lot, this competition was a lot stiffer at NC State than it was back in Candler, North Carolina. And again, I got no hate on Candler. I'll take responsibility for not dedicating myself. But I was forced to fix it and graduated with honors from NC State. And another thing I'd recommend to kids is you think about college and making it affordable. I paid for 100% of my college myself as a produce farmer. With my granddaddy, we raised money, sold it. I was able to save enough money to go to the first 2 years of college, but the last two I paid for with a cooperative education program,
Okay.
where you go to a semester of school and then you go to a semester of work, and they pay you full time, and then you've got enough money so you can get to the next semester and you go. So the last two took me 5 years to get out, but I was able to find the resources to pay pay for that computer science degree. And then it was the computer science degree from NC State and my work experience with EPA that got me into Duke University's business program right down the road in Durham. And so I got to, for the years, I got to watch a lot of good ACC basketball from both perspectives.
Okay. North Carolina fan here, so
Yeah.
we won't discuss it too much further.
The ABC Club.
All right, so what was the greatest personal challenge you faced in developing your career, and how did you overcome it?
I believe that the reason we play sports in high school, as younger kids in high school and even in college, is because it starts to give you a glimpse of the kinds of things that you're going to face when you go to work. And developing a team is really the most important thing that it's going to take to be successful in most careers. There are very, very, very few people that make a living by themselves. Let's take someone like Amy Winehouse, okay? Is she popular enough? Give me somebody close to
That
her.
sounds good.
Yeah, Amy Winehouse is an absolutely incredible singer and talent. Unfortunately, she passed, but she had to have a manager. She had to have a band. She had to have the roadies. She had to have the sponsors. It took an entire team to allow her to travel the world and distribute her music. If you think about whether you're in a hospital, you're in a school, you're in a restaurant, you're in a country club, it doesn't matter. It's going to take a team to accomplish the goals of that organization. And you have to, what a challenge is to pick the right team, to have them ready to go and ready to perform at the, in the event, whatever that event is, and be able to make adjustments as you go along. And so it's the development of team, the picking the team, developing it, and making adjustments so that it can be better has always been the biggest challenge, and quite frankly, the most rewarding part of my career. And there are a lot of really, really fantastic people that have made our company what it is today.
Well, that makes sense. Challenging makes it most rewarding, isn't it? All right, let's see. You've accomplished so much in your personal life and professional career. Is there anything else on your to-do list? What happens is as you go along in your career, in the early stages, you really are just trying to figure things out. And it takes you, until you're 25 maybe to just get an understanding of the lay of the land. And then for the next 10 or 15 years, you really start perfecting your own capabilities and your own craft. And then after that, you start creating, the ideas of how do you help people behind you to, to continue to build the capability to serve other people, to be helpful to the clients. Where I am now, it really comes down to, being of service beyond just the work. Let me give you an example. We just did a project with care.org. It is a organization around the world who has taken a lot of time and energy to bring resources to third world countries. They are currently now bringing their capabilities of bringing supplies and care packages to the United States, to the frontline workers, people who during this COVID pandemic are out in the hospital, out in the community, testing, caring for, and doing the research to find a cure for COVID and to help those that have been affected by it.
you know, we spend an enormous amount of time and energy now trying to think, how do we bring the expertise that we've built as a company in our consulting industry, not just to help our customers, but to also help organizations like Care.org. And that is a very rewarding part of the work we do now. As you know, Kelly, and maybe some of the folks that are watching this know, you know, the Barnstock, music festival that we did for 10 years, that's got a little bit left in it. We have seen the power of music, the idea that a community can come together and have a good time and be connected, but yet also help others is true. And we watched it happen for 10 years. And I'd like to think, you know, in the next little bit that we take that energy and we turn it into something that is more regional, possibly national, and who knows, maybe global.
No, that'd be exciting.
That would be